Billy Reeves here. Welcome to the Kscope podcast 189, side 1. Bright Spirit, Gong, the third in the triptych from the universe also collapses via unending, ascending, 13th of March 2026, all formats including turquoise vinyl, a UK tour in March, Europe in April, festivals in the summer. So time for my old friend Kavus Torabi, the front person, and I to meet up, which we did backstage at the final date of his solo UK tour a few weeks ago. I've often said if Gong didn't exist, they would have to be invented. Yeah. And in many ways, since 2018, 2019, that's what's happened. What's different about this particular LP and what's the same about this particular LP?
Well, I'll start with what's the same, because it's the same five of us doing the music. And we recorded it in the same studio with the same engineer-producer, Frank Bing, and we used with the same record label, obviously, Kscope, and with the same artist, Steve Mitchell at 57 Design. And that was deliberate because we think of it as being the third part of this trilogy, which has all been made using this, using this team, and to see, how we can develop this idea of this current Gong over the course of these three albums. What was different, though, was the process that in which we approached the songs. With the last album, Unending Ascending, they were all written sort of while we were together, and they just sort of, I'd come up with a riff, and then it turned into a song, and it happened sort of in real time, while we were together. Whereas with a lot of this record, not all of it, but a lot of it. Because of the nature of the deadline, I sort of, we had 2 months off at the beginning of 2025, and I just went home and wrote the stuff and presented it to the band, which sort of changes things a bit. And then also because we knew we weren't going to be able to play it in on the road as we did with the last album. The last one we toured most of the songs in Europe before ever recording them. So because we weren't going to do that, we made a conscious decision to not try and make songs that could necessarily be played live. We could do stuff that just was a lot more studio based, and so we kind of played to the advantage of that, I think, with this one. When you take that time to, okay, I'm now going to write some Gong songs, and you get yourself in that headspace, is that actually healthy, working to a deadline? I say yes. Otherwise, you just be fiddling away forever. Well, it was no, but working to a deadline is good. But it was more really that it was slightly different from the way we normally work. Usually, the way I sort of look at it is that whatever ideas I come up with when I'm around those guys, they become Gong ideas. Yeah. So I do tend to sort of generate quite a lot of ideas and songs and stuff. And then it's just like, well, in this period, whatever gets generated, that's what's going to be Gong. Whereas what happened this time is it was more like going away and writing stuff to bring to the band. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. And because of that, there were a couple of songs that I then very early on said, do you know what, actually, because I did not exactly demos. I didn't want to do demos. What I did by demos, I mean, is I did me singing and playing the guitar, and because I didn't want to come up with bass parts or sax parts or whatever. Yeah. But even in that, there was one tune which, a few of the guys really liked, and I said, you know what, I think this is a solo tune, actually. And I've never, ever done that before, so...
So it's a song which we will hear in the future.
It's called Water into Wine, and it will be now, and it will be on my next record, which will be late this year. But that's cool. But that's the first time I've ever done that. When we did it, and then thought, no, actually, I think I want this as a solo thing. Yeah. But normally I'd never think that, because it was, whatever I came up with those guys would be that would be what we used.
That's something that only you can decide. I was talking to Stef Broks from Textures about this the other day. It just suddenly struck me that when you listen to Gong, when you listen to your music, their music, polyrhythms, odd time signatures, once you find the middle of it, and you're locked into it. I'm now nodding my head with my eyes wide open. Suddenly, you become more intelligent. If we cut the brain in twain of a typical prog rock fan, prog metal fan, Kavus Torabi fan, Gong fan, we would find that their neural pathways have been improved by the music, because you have to find the middle of it. And once you find the middle of it, synapses are snapping around. I swear down, there must be some research done on this.
I love this.
And secondly, if you go to a Yaw gig, a Cardiac's gig, a Gong gig, a Tesseract gig, you will find that the people there are really nice.
I won't even open the sort of the well-oiled door, the currently well-oiled door of neurodiversity with this answer, because I think there may well be an explanation for that.
Yeah.
In as much as, you know, especially on this current solo tour, but, you know, finding myself now with because I know a lot of people talk about neurodiversity, and having found out that I'm at least you know, if not a fully paid up member of this club, certainly a regular, I don't know, you know, I'm going to but yes, realising that lots of my fans are neurodivergent as well, and really being able to spot it. And I don't know whether it's necessarily this, but this might have something to do with it, because this kind of thing that we do, whoever it is, whether it's, you know, myself or Gong or Cardiac's or whatever, this sort of thing we do, for some people can't hear it, or rather, it's just a total turn-off for some people. They just sort of think, well, why on earth would you want to either make or listen to music that does that? This is, you know, it's not a nice thing for them. Whereas for me, it seems it's just so rich with doing that, and it's not to be a big show off, and it's not to sort of show that you're clever or anything like that. Because I don't think really, relatively speaking, anyway, say, you know, compared to something like, I don't know, Extra Life or, you know, Lost Crowns or Meshuggah, I think it's a lot more straightforward. But I do think it sort of, you're after something with this real richness, and it seems to, whatever it is, this thing is, it seems to have meaning, and it has richness, and it seems to sort of describe some kind of, you know, almost like supernatural kind of architecture.
Talk to me about Fragrance of Paradise. I'm particularly fascinated by this song. Is it a love song?
It is a love song, yeah.
Is there some olfactory messages in there? Because I think that pop music does everything that all of the other art forms do, except smell.
Well, certainly I suppose the main tune, is a riff I've had for, that melody and that riff on the guitar I've had for about 7 or 8 years.
How do you remember that then?
Because I can remember the holiday I was on when I came up with it, and it was about 7 or 8 years. I remember it was while I was writing medical grade music. Yeah, I remember exactly the holiday I was on. But yes, and I've had that for ages, and it's never found its home. And then it did on this tune. So I was quite glad to get that one, you know, out of they sit in your sort of melody and riff bank, or at least I do, and eventually they'll find the home, and it found its home 7 years later. So yeah, but it is a love song. Yeah.
To whom? Come on.
Well, I would say my girlfriend inspired it, but I wanted it to be more universal. So I will say the Divine Feminine. It's a love song from all males to the Divine Feminine.
are fallen deep for such a mortal goal. In the book of fate, her name was writ with gold. In the glow are you waiting? In the glow are you waiting? As her altar vibrating, and I raise my faint eyes, adrift in a vista of stars. She tells me now, radiant, all crystalline, in fury she enslaved, and swiftly my mind turned away from riddles of the grave. In the glow are you waiting? As her altar vibrating, flow her direction, let this perfection shine bright. Stars align, mystery unending, and arms apprehending, all selves entwined, stitched into time, ecstasies unknown. Hungry my lips sigh, as I lay my head on her nail. She pulls me down, red mouth to taste eye, heavenly ever. Her dead heart awakens alive just to heed her moan. Glamorous rapture,
Where do Gong do their best business? We must talk about how you create your business as a musician. Where do Gong do their best business?
In terms of shows, I mean,
I
in
guess
the
we
UK,
should- yeah.
UK
Right.
is our best
But
market.
there's this huge European tour.
Yeah, huge European tour. Germany seems to be, for this version of Gong, Germany seems to be kind of somewhere that we do pretty well. It's interesting. So-called classic Gong, what didn't do as well in Germany, I think Pierre Merlin's Gong did. France is pretty happening for us. I mean, we've done two tours in the US recently, and they were great. And then we're doing a bit in Italy as well, which we've done a bit. But yeah, generally the UK. But yeah, I mean, Germany, France, Italy, US.
Yeah, why is that? Do you think?
I don't know. I honestly,
It's a very English thing. I mean, obviously it has its traditions.
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm so grateful that anyone likes us at all. Honestly, I'm always taken aback that people that people have accepted what it is we're doing, and that we have brought. I probably said this to you last time. We're now a couple of years further down the line. That people have accepted what it is we're doing. Yeah. You know, not everyone, but obviously that's fine. You know, it's a big ask, and then and also that we have brought new people in. You know, we've brought new people in who didn't know about the old Gong and are sort of discovering about the old Gong through what we do as well. Yeah.
You are, I think, the only muso that I know where being a musician is your side hustle. Your main hustle is music, but your side hustle is music.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
Because I don't know any other musician who is a full-time musician. Right?
Yeah.
Which is sad, right? But it also means it's a massive pat on the back. Have a pat on the back.
Oh, bless you. I'll
have
take
a
one
pat,
for that.
have a pat on the
Well,
back and a squeeze of the shoulder.
It took a long time to get here. It took a long, but you know, when I set my mind to something. I get there in the end, and this one took years. You know, this took, and well, I can tie it in. Downstairs, we saw a poster for Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats is playing here in 2 days.
He's super great.
It's super good, and this is Starcat. And it was from the moment of seeing Stray Cats on Top of the Pops, I've mentioned many times, that put this spark in my head. And that was 1980. And finally, I managed to get this over the line to do that. To this be the only thing I do in 2018. So that was a long-assed wait, but I got there. You know.
Well, you know, through practice and genius, and also the.
But yeah, this is all I do. I don't like to. You know, it took me this long to get here, and I was 25 years a painter decorator, while in order to fund doing music, and I got down from that ladder in 2018, and I never want to get back up it again. You know, but it's not just that. I feel like I've got, you know, musically, I've got stuff to say. I'm always writing. I'm always doing stuff, and. You know, the process of making a record, I love doing. I love it sort of exercises every sort of creative avenue, which is from songwriting to performing to singing to writing lyrics to engineering to mixing. And I'm not an expert at any of those, but I like to get better. I like to. I don't know who it was that said that, you know, happiness is the pursuit of excellence, and so I want to be a better recording engineer. I want to be a better arranger. I want to be a better lyricist. I want to be a better singer. And then it comes down to doing the artwork. I want to be a better illustrator. So every aspect of what I do creatively, I love trying to get better and better at everything.
Yeah. I know you're influenced by comic art.
Yeah.
It's been a total blind spot for me, but recently I've realised that it's a prejudice.
Right, okay.
You know, and I'm understanding exactly this, especially the sort of people I know that it influences. My 2000 AD.
Yeah, that was my one. Yeah,
sort of gateway was the gateway to people of my sort of like school friends that were into that sort of thing. Because it was British, I think.
It was British, and it had much more of a European sensibility, and say it didn't look like the Marvel comics or stuff. And for me, it was, apart from like the centre pages, Judge Dredd, which were coloured. It's all black and white pen and ink, which is I love. I love black and white art, and it was like for 12p a week buying this buying this 12p a week compendium of fine art, you know. And if you're interested in sort of figurative art, it really is. It's the last place for figurative art, because you have to be able to draw the figure, and you have to be able to draw expressions. And you know, this art had such an atmosphere, you know. And also I think, you know, I feel very fortunate to now I'm in correspondence with two of my favourite creators, actually, Jim Woodring and Brian Talbot, who I met when I was 15, and was probably, I won't say the single most inspiring person I'd met, but Brian Talbot, and he knows this, I wrote a little bit about it in our book. I met him, I was his steward at a comic convention in Plymouth when I was 15, and it was the first time I'd met a grown-up who, and this is like you patting me on the back, the first time I'd met a grown-up who was like an artist and making his living out of being an artist, and was he was like a rock star, you know, and for me, and he looked like one as well. And, you know, for me, growing up in Plymouth as well, but also my parents, who just weren't really interested in music or the arts or anything, I'd never met anyone like that. And he was this really, really liberal, sort of right on kind of counterculture figure, and to have spent the day with him, and he was so encouraging, and he I don't want to be self-aggrandizing and saying he must have seen something in me, but he a time when I'd just been told shut up, Kavus, by most people, he seemed to really like my enthusiasm, and was, you know, I really felt like we'd made a connection. And then when I wrote this book a few years ago, I got in touch with him and said, I don't know if you remember me. He did.
Yeah.
And we've since become like sort of friends again.
Amazing.
And communicate. Yeah. And then also Jim Woodring, who's probably my favourite living cartoonist, lives just outside of Seattle.
What does he do?
His big work is called Frank, and he makes these extraordinary wordless comics. And I would say, bringing it more around to the podcast, if what Tim Smith it was to music, and what David Lynch was to cinema, it's awful saying was about both of those people. Jim Woodring is to comics. He's a visionary. I think he's getting to the guts of something. He's rubbed away the thin veil between this world and the next, and is presenting it in these extraordinary wordless comics. That are set in a place called the Unifactor with his central figure Frank, and he's really onto something. The storytelling and the art had such an atmosphere, and it was pretty radical. It was coming from this real anarcho kind of place, and the politics in it were very much kind of. It was a kind of most of 2000 AD was like a satire on Thatcher's Britain, you know, but sort of dressed up as this this sci-fi comic. I mean, Judge Dredd being the most obvious example. That was completely a satire of Thatcher's Britain. I mean, Judge Dredd was the anti-hero. You weren't supposed to identify with him. He's the baddie, you know. The system is the baddie. And there was so many brilliant artists that came through that. Brian Talbot, as I mentioned, being one of them.
But, it's something I definitely need to just lose my blind spot on.
I can give you a reading that stuff.
Leo Baxendale.
That's
I was such a fan of the Beano.
Yeah,
but the older I get, the more I feel sorry for Cuthbert cringeworthy.
I always identified with Cuthbert. That was the thing I didn't know. Cuthbert was the one I identified with always. Not Dennis and Nasher, because because I was sort of like, I wasn't bullied. I used to say I was bullied. I was kind of, I was picked on a bit, but then that just. I think it strengthens your resolve, but I always felt like Cuthbert.
But the first, being that a little bit older than you, Dennis's band were really inspirational for me. Dennis and the Din Makers.
Dennis and the Din Makers, and he had a friend
Curly. Pie-Face and Curly,
being a Stray Cats fan, I always sort of thought that. I wondered
what inspired Dennis and the Din Makers wasn't punk. That him walking past a TV shop, and he noticed that Belting John is getting his gold disc on top of the pops.
Oh, Belting
John, and that inspires the band. Anyway, sorry.
I have to tell you something about this, and this is something.
John.
This is something that I remember telling Tim Smith, Cardiff Tim, and Tim loved this. And being the sort of Beano reader as I was, and pop music lover that I was. Any sort of vague mention of pop music in the Beano would be great, because you didn't expect that world to collide. 2000 AD was far more kind of, the two worlds were much more intermeshed, But so that's why I like Dennis and Din Makers, and occasionally a pop star would appear on the pages of Twitter. But there was in the letters page at some point in the early 80s, there was a letter that said, "Is there anything that Roger doesn't dodge?" And they, and the reply was, Roger doesn't dodge, and it was the things he didn't dodge. One of them was an ice cream or something, Roger doesn't dodge an ice cream. Something that I can't remember what the second was. Things you'd expect. And the third one was, and listening to his Joan Armatrading records. And it's just like, there's no way that Roger the Dodger is into Joan Armatrading. I was like, Jesus Christ. And it used to really, and I remember telling you, Tim Smith absolutely loved it. The idea of Roger the Dodger listening to Joan Armatrading, he doesn't dodge listening to his Joan Armatrading record.
Such a fantastic evening that was. My huge thanks to Kavus Torabi, Gong, Bright Spirit, 13th of March 2026. All is sound, all is love, Gong is one, and one is you. Those live dates are through March in the UK and April in Europe, and then those festivals. Get on that, because the band are going to take a bit of a break next year. You heard Fragrance of Paradise and The Wonderment, and we're going to finish with the final track from the album Eternal Hand. We did talk about Iran, obviously. It was a few weeks ago. Things have moved on, sadly, of course, so we'll come back to that in happier times. Gong, eternal hand. Ta-ta.
Ocean scale through inky depths of loving, she's beckoning shipwrecked sailors. The storm she guides, faster gale beneath the starfilled sky, and I endlessly kept her trail, her foaming tide. Restless night, beauty's daughter, a cloudless blue, the shoreless sea, gilding a pathless water. Oh, spirit bright, spirit bright, spirit bright, endless leagues a sail. Spirit bright, spirit bright. Globe of silver that you were in my mind, eternal hand, mine and mine alone, illumination, eternal hand, falling of the tides, a globe of silver that you were in my mind, eternal hand, mine and mine alone, mine and mine alone, forever, eternal hand. Of silver that you were in my mind, eternal hand, mind and mine alone, illumination, eternal hand, falling of the tides, a globe of silver that you were in my mind, eternal hand, mine and mine alone, illumination, eternal hand, falling of the tides, a globe of silver that you were in my mind, eternal hand, mine and mine alone, illumination, eternal hand, falling of the tides, a globe of silver that you were in my mind, you were in my mind, mind and mine alone, mind and mine alone, forever, eternal hand, eternal hand. Eternal hand.
Hello, and welcome to 189 Side 2. Void, the new album from Godsticks, March the 27th, 2026, produced by James Loffrey, probably most famous for his work with Skindred and Def Leppard, all formats. Pearl Sunrise vinyl. Through the official store, there's a bonus CD of 3 unreleased tracks as well, which they talk about herein. So down to South Wales I went as the band were preparing for their UK club tour, which is coming up shortly, where I spoke to all 4 of them. You'll hear firstly from Darran, then Gavin, then Tom, then Francis. I found it interesting that the press blurb and the sales notes of this record described it as uncompromising, which suggests that everything you've done before has been quite compromising.
Oh, I have compromised, yeah.
You've compromised in the past, but you're not compromising.
Well, yeah, I
anymore.
wanted to call the album, each album, I wanted to call the C word.
Right.
So I've
Cardiff.
compromised. Yeah. That's far more offensive a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose. No, you're right, actually. I haven't compromised. We haven't compromised at all, really.
Well, I disagree to a degree, because in reviews we always take notes of what the reviewers say, don't we? There was at that time that they said the vocals were understated in a previous album, and then you worked to bring those out a bit more on a later album. So I think we do take. That's not really compromising what we're about, but it's like we do take note of what the reviews say, and we do bear that in mind for future albums.
Anything negative.
That's very adult, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, because I take opinion. Any opinion is considered impartial, and it's I respect critical opinions a bit more, because you think, oh, at least because I remember we had don't often have bad reviews. We had this really bad review once, and they just took it. They didn't like it at all, but it was written that well. I thought, well, at least they listened to it.
Yeah, no, totally. Tom, at any point during your membership of this band, have you compromised?
Yes.
In what way have you compromised?
Well, just in terms of me being quite selfish in terms of what I like in my drum parts and what I want.
Actually,
what
Tom
I want to
was
happen.
eager to get in.
And I have to compromise, and it's something that we definitely have done so much as a group. The reason why I think it's being touted, this album is touted as uncompromising, is because we went through so much to get this album out, and learning. We need to keep rehearsing and keep going. And we just decided that we can't compromise and make something that is not the way that we want our album to be. We had to just keep pushing and we just had to keep on going, and we had to kind of say it's not ready until it's ready.
That's my answer. Yeah. That's my answer.
That's a great answer.
No, it's a good point. It's really
a very
true.
good. So, Francis, what Tom's talking about there is not compromising as a group of people.
Yeah, same again. I mean, same with like bass lines. I think like when it comes to the creative element, like it's a case of we all have ideas of what we think would be like the best thing or like the thing that we like, but it's about making the song. It's about bringing the best parts of the song out and working with everyone. So like, there's lines that I'd love to like shred off in there, but it just wouldn't really be appropriate.
There's enough shredding going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Else, I guess. Yeah. Gavin, what I'm again fascinated about this group is that the drums obviously have to be done in a room, but a lot of the other part, being holed up in studio, but a lot of the other parts aren't. Yeah. Right, and you were talking on socials. Interesting, you were saying, the sort of fun stuff. Oh, me and Darran were like trying loads of amps, trying loads of different guitars, but then we stored them.
Yes.
What does that mean? How can you store them?
The beautiful thing about technology, using devices, amp modelling technology, like Quad Cortex and even the FM3 or like fractal stuff, you can actually. So me and Darran, we were in this very room with a cab set up. We knew exactly what cab we wanted to use.
By cab, you mean an amp speaker?
Yeah, one of these amp speaker cabs.
Yeah.
We knew exactly which ones we wanted to use, and we were testing different microphones. We used tried out all these different amps and dialed in different EQ settings.
Fucking must have been.
I know, and
Yeah.
then run it through a nice preamp with a microphone, and then we thought, yeah, that's a great sound. And then the Quad Cortex will actually allow you to print that sound, so you onto the device
that
itself.
you've recorded, or do you just fill in SG?
So what it does, it actually sends a signal to the amp, and then back into the Quad Cortex, and magic happens, and then it just captures that sound. So then you can plug your guitar into a Quad Cortex, and it'll play as if you're playing through that amp sound.
You don't have to play single notes or chords or anything.
Well, no,
Just-
what it does, so you stick a mic in front, with the Quad Cortex, you find your sound through the amp, and
Yeah.
you stick a mic in front of the amp that's fed into the unit called the Quad Cortex. It's got this little function where it profiles the sound. So you press a little button, it sends a signal through to the amp because it's connected to the amp, and the amp produces a signal that goes through the mic, and that sound basically is digitally captured there. So then you're able to play through that modeler what you've just heard come out of there.
So why you don't need amps? If you have, is there a pedal where you can switch between?
You don't need amps
different
after you've
sounds?
captured it. After you've captured it, the amp.
So you can have a pedal where you can go, okay, I'm now playing this guitar through the AC30, and then at the verse, and you could actually recreate that live without amps.
Without amps. Yeah.
Therefore, not having to break your back.
Well, we've been doing that for years now. Yeah. So lots of people do it these days.
The beauty of this one, though, is that you're going to get our actual amp sounds live that we used on the recordings.
It saves money on vans.
It saves money on everything, and it's also a consistent sound because you basically you take a feed from the back of the digital modeler straight into the PA.
Yeah.
So you're not miking up any cabs. You're not reliant upon the venue's sound man or the positioning of the mic, etc. You're just getting an unadulterated guitar signal via the digital modeler.
Wow. Right. So can we do this for drums?
You wouldn't be sat here now if we could.
Wouldn't look as good. No, would it?
Yeah, well, it saved me a lot of hassle, but no, yeah.
Why is prog metal as bigger now than it's been probably ever?
It's taken over it's the biggest thing in prog metal. I think it has been for the last
Stroke, the biggest thing in metal, perhaps.
A little bit,
hard
yeah.
rock.
There's a crossover, like Sleep Token, for instance. I don't understand how they fall into the metal category because I like them. I quite like listening to them when I was on holiday, and I enjoyed it. But anyway, that prog metal is the biggest thing in prog, and metal's always massive. And it's never...
There's young people coming. That's the really strange thing. I mean, Tesseract spoke about this last time I spoke to them.
But that's sort of like the technical side of things, because it's sort of the epitome of sort of technical playing a lot of the times the prog metal scene is, and it features some of the best guitar players. And what you'll discover is that all the wannabe virtuosos, all the young guitar players, they like to go and watch them. It's the same with the drums as well. All the youngsters want to see the best drummer, and all the young guitarists want to see the best guitarist. And it's and more often than not, those places are occupied by prog metal musicians. So so you've got like Gavin Harrison, for instance. There's I always remember there was always loads of under 20s. You think, what the fuck's going on here? Like under 20s in the audience, because they're there to see Gavin Harrison. And it's the same with Guthrie Govan and the Aristocrats. It's like they're all 50 odd years of age playing instrumental music, and it's just full of loads of under 20-year-olds. So it's
really interesting. Because I also wondered if it was a cultural thing. Since we spoke last, there's been a change in cultural attitudes that makes prog metal more important.
I think I find myself kind of even though being in a prog metal band, I kind of find myself still needing to educate myself a lot, I guess, with the modern, lots of the modern bands and everything. What Darran was saying there was, is absolutely right. That surely the biggest attraction, or the thing that I would be attracted to, is to look and find the best musicians in this this band.
Once you sort of find the middle of it, right? Someone's going in 7/4 into 13 into 4. Once you find the middle of it, right, it immediately makes you more intelligent. Synapses are flying around your brain to make that connection, and therefore you guys playing that sort of music, not only is it dexterity, but it's synapses. So if I cut your brain in half,
please,
right, would you it prove to me that you're more intelligent than the average person?
Still need one hell of a microscope, scope, I suppose. So like, I mean, like, that's the whole thing. That was
great bass player.
Well, do you know what? In his defence, mind, he's an accomplished pianist as well.
He's got an extra string as well. He's got 2 unnecessary.
But you were
strings.
don't roll back that insult because it was well deserved. Don't roll it back. My only defence for him was that he plays keyboard as well.
I used to be in a group. I know the bands. So is it something that you really, really have to think about?
I guess so, but it's like, I suppose when it comes to like phase locking and all that kind of thing, it's like, I think we were talking about Gavin Harrison, and I think you mentioned like with disco, and like, I think that prog rock and prog metal has gone in such a way that a lot of it is about like locking in. I think that I remember like I did in my dissertation, there was talk about with neo prog, a lot of it was just kind of like the odd time signatures almost for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But like I noticed now that like with like the rise of like I think like jazz and soul and neo soul has got quite a nice overlap with like prog. There's a lot more with it phase locking. It's finding the groove with everything. Totally, so it's still it's still extremely technical, and it still has that wow factor. But I think that like it's got like, I think it's very much a case of people kind of grow from it when they get time signatures, because they can actually feel that like
the groove. It's the groove.
It has to be the groove. It has to be that. That's the most important. For you counting, we have never counted on never counted a bar ever. Because if you can't feel it, then it probably isn't. Well, because
I did wonder that the way that you structure things is in parts. Because otherwise, how on earth would you write the bloody things?
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. But like, you know, you've got like for all the, like for me, Meshuggah. Have you ever listened to Meshuggah? No, that's the pinnacle. That for me, everybody else pales in insignificant.
They crop up a lot in these conversations.
They have to, because they're I worship. You know, I actually worship Meshuggah. I put them like my 2 favorite bands are like the bucket list bands I want to see live, and I managed to see Radiohead live last year,
right.
and Meshuggah I want to see live as well, because it's just. It's sort of like, I reckon it's going to be like a borderline religious experience, because like just sit and listen. And I don't even, the things of Meshuggah and Radio, I don't even really sit and listen to them that much, because they warrant attention when you do listen to them. It's not something you can have on in the background because there's noise. That's the worst part about Meshuggah, you know, the Smile and Radiohead is if that was background music, you can't, it's horrible to listen to. But once Meshuggah, everyone cites Meshuggah. I bet Tesseract did. I bet Textures did. They have to, because they're proper gods, and what they do, like. But we talk about, it's all 4/4. The most complicated metal music is the most complicated music, I probably would say, on the planet. Right. If I'm because it's unbelievable. I still got no idea how they play it, because I can't imagine.
I like that.
I've got no idea how they do it.
It's the same with you guys. I like that. I like the fact that I don't know what's going to happen now. I played what did I play? I played Hold Back to the eminent musicologist Ivan Chandler, stroke music lawyer. Right. And he said, he listened to it intently, and then he paused a little bit, and he said, I can clearly, and I'll quote, I can clearly hear the influence of Duke Ellington's obsession with Bulgarian music. Can you explain to me what? And I sort of nodded.
What a question, Billy.
Can you explain what Ivan meant?
Oh no.
Moving on to the next question.
Oh, we got it again. There's no
Well, I don't think that I'm that interested in a person to write this.
This is why you've adopted this curmudgeonly character.
I am like sort of affable, I suppose, when in certain
right
company.
laugh.
Yeah, but people don't seem to realise that I have. I'll tell you my trick now. Is that what I do is like in a band situation, you might realise it now. It's like I love everyone. You think, oh, he's such a nice guy. He wants everyone to get along, and I do want everyone to have a laugh, because once you all get along, I can fuck off. Get on. But I do like to just be on my own, and that's not. But the problem is with that is I don't even like my own company either.
Well, yeah, fair enough. But the what you don't do, what in my experience of being in your company, is that what you don't do, people that do, I mean, I'm teasing you, but there are people that do it. There are people that do adopt a curmudgeonly character, through fear, through their own nervousness around people. But what they're doing, of course, is they're testing people. They're constantly psychologically doing this. I don't see that in you.
Oh no, I just completely. I don't judge anybody. I think everybody is equal. Genuinely, I don't think I'm better than anyone. But on the same token, I don't think anyone's better than me either. So I judge everybody in exactly the same way. So, and I think that. I genuinely think that people are equal. And I'm also really interested. I always ask questions. That's why I always ask questions, because I'm interested. Because everyone's the same, really.
Well, you are a lyricist, right? So, MIA, I've talked about this before, how I want there to be a prog metal disco crossover, and thank you at long last for fucking doing it. At last, at last.
The Floridian stuff was important.
Yeah, Floridian,
yeah. I suppose I would say Meshuggah is an influence on me. That was the last track I think that we finished, or at least guitar-wise. Right. It was a nightmare in the studio for him. It was a nightmare for it's just a nightmare.
Rueful nods.
Because you can play it poorly easily. If I say that was an easy gig, that's because it was shit.
There's a part of every song that is like a bit of a sort of breathing space. You've done all the head case stuff, and then like, this section we can relax a bit by here. But it's relentless throughout.
They got luxury though. It's like when you're playing live though. I haven't got a single solitary second where I can relax. They got nothing. I got nothing. I can't even scratch my fucking head.
Whether you need to build that into the compositions, that's your fault, surely.
Head scratching.
Yeah, take the drums out, take everything out. This is why we have bass solos.
So maybe it was a revenge, that track was, because you haven't got time to scratch your ass, mate. Scratch mine.
Am I hearing voices running through my head? Can I want some quiet? 'Cause the needle's in the red. They'd have me lying in some prison cell. 'Cause they are so involved on my way to hell.
it's just because you explore it yourself. It's not you're not going to end up copying anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
These scales exist. Like you learn scales. You don't. No one's playing up and down scales. You're just learning intervals really, and think, oh, why do these?
This I discovered recently. The intervals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Indian music, especially, is because it's got like a lot of it is really sweet and pleasant, but then every now and again they'll chuck a minor second in, and they'll chuck a minor third into something that's really sweet. So it's gone from really sweet and pleasant, and it brings it back to darkness.
Which you're not used to in Western pop music, especially now. Are there any of these songs on this album that someone could cover?
Hope is Burning Alive. We funny enough, we worked on that.
interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say you can. Like there's Hope is Burning, definitely. It's like it's already slow enough, and it's already melodic enough, and it's interesting. And we were talking about this, like with some of the chords that are used, and it's like it's really like colourful. And I think that's one of the things that makes something coverable. Like I think,
he did an amazing job on, because that's going to be on the bonus disc. That bonus disc, he did a whirl. We loaded up a whirly, and he did a piano a whirly arrangement of Hold Back, and I sang again. It's unbelievable, man.
I really look forward to hearing that.
It's really clever, and I love what he's like, because I don't give praise often, as you well know.
Well, it's your comedy curmudgeon showbiz character, isn't it?
Well, no one likes giving praise, do they? I don't like receiving it either, mind. I'd rather an insult. I do give praise, though. All right, I don't give effusive praise like. But what he did, just his little like anybody, I could do a piano arrangement of that Whole Back, but I couldn't do what he did. But he colours things in and uses like chords. They're not even chords, he's just little clusters of things that just make you think. Like I compared it to Stevie Wonder, didn't I? Because like songs in the key, if you listen to like Stevie Wonder's keyboard playing, like songs in the key of life, things like that, if you listen closely and because I used to try and transcribe what he did, none of those chords make sense. It's not like it's an open C or something
massively
like that.
influenced by prog rock.
He's amazing.
Stevie Wonder, because they were contemporary. Tom, what's changed from the previous records, and what stayed the same, would you say?
I think the biggest change, maybe I'm simplifying it a little bit too much, but I think it's our attitude this time around in terms of attitude. As I mentioned before, maybe just the attitude of like, we want the music to be as strong as we can make it. We want it to kind of be written and played in a certain way, and quite often that meant that we couldn't actually do it. so that was hopefully, it definitely was from me, a conscious effort from all of us to think, last record was great, really happy with that. Don't want to go backwards, we want to go forward. So something has to kind of improve and evolve, and I think the attitude of just going, we want this song or this particular album to be a certain way. We need to keep that vision in mind and work towards that. And even if we've got to slave away, or even if we've got to pull our hair out to actually make the thing make it work as we want it to do, we have to keep pushing. Everything that's been evolved. Lots of things have been evolving since the very first album that I did with you guys, or the first album I guess me and Gav did with Darran. And I think lots of it now is unspoken. Lots of it is like, I'm gonna play this part, but I know that it's probably a little bit too much. So I know that I'll have this in the back pocket to see if this is going to work as well.
Don't stop me trying, though, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't stop me trying, because because I want to express, I guess, what I want to express.
He wants to impress you, Grandad. He doesn't.
It's all about impressing.
He always wants to impress him. He wants to impress himself, which I like. I prefer that. But that doesn't always impress me.
Don't impress. When did you or the group? When did you personally know? Right, it's finished now. What was the point where you said, right, okay, it's ready?
When Darran sent me the album, it's done.
It was that, and it was when we were working on the music video as well. It was like, this is very much this isn't just like, we're talking about it. This is like, this is some media that we're like putting out there to everyone's
music video.
That's really interesting, because that's proper 80s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, the album's done because we've slated the first single.
Yeah, it is true.
That's really interesting.
Like an album cycle, we will go through a couple of mixes. Am I right in saying that maybe This Is What a Winner looks like? There were probably quite a lot of like remixes and like tweaks that we made, but I think there weren't so many.
No, this is really. I think it's because we we spent so long, as Tom said, because we couldn't actually play a lot of the things that we'd written, which isn't unusual. Because because we compose using our ears, what we want to hear rather than what we're able to do. And we always think, so we always set ourselves, it's not setting ourselves a challenge to do it, it's just that it is inevitably a challenge. So it required a lot more rehearsal this time. And took me, I expected, after we tracked the drums, I expected to come in here and just knock out the guitar parts in 4 weeks or something like that. It didn't. It took 6 months. Right. It took 6 months because I had to rehearse.
Good. Yeah. Great. That's great.
Fucking nightmare. So, but the advantage of that, is what you just pointed out, is that there wasn't so many revisions to the mix.
That's really interesting. Because I think I like that, because I think records should take a week or 18 months. If there's something
in between.
Yeah. Anything in between, something's gone wrong. Isn't it? Basically, you're either not working hard enough, or you've got.
It could take you an hour to put down the foundations for an entire song, but then it could take you about 2 years to finish it.
Because you're too busy fiddling with your amps. Yeah, why?
No, that's the benefit. So you say we have to practice our parts. That's the benefit of getting our sound what we want, and then we can go away then,
dictates the
and then really work on our performance side of it.
What constitutes, Gavin, success for this album and this group?
It'd be nice to see if we get... So our live performances, it'd be nice to see if people are really connecting with it and deciding, I want to see what they like. Yeah. I want to see what they like live. I want to... Yeah, that would be success for me.
Which is better, playing the club shows or playing with bigger groups?
Play headline sets. And I do I know it's easy, because I was going to say I'd really like small venues, as if we've got a choice.
Yeah.
But I do like small venues. Do you know why? I suppose it is. If a venue's packed, I suppose that's why we like small venues, maybe, because it looks more packed. Yeah. But I suppose if it's a packed venue, there's nothing. We haven't experienced it a great many times, if we're being perfectly honest. But the times we have experienced it, it's just, I think that's what we all strive for. That is the definition of success for us, because that's the biggest payoff you could ever want. There's nothing better than just playing your music, what you've written, to a pile of people who came out to see it.
Yes, totally agree with that. Make sure you get on these club dates over the next few weeks. Godsticks, Void. You heard firstly MIA, followed by Hold Back, and we'll end with the final track, Hope is Burning. Billy Reeves, out. Speak to you soon. Ta-ta.
Has no one told you that you're throwing it away? Maybe you should notice that you're running out of days. With you not answering, I'm talking to a woman.